Yeah. Yeah.
Welcome to OtakuCast. I'm your host.
What's up?
Oh, that was a stretch.
We hear you.
Yeah, we hear you.
No, I had to mute the sound, unmute me, and then switch to the thing all in like 10 seconds.
Well, get out of here. Our cast is started.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
alright, yeah, okay, fine. Anyway.
Pay attention to the man behind the curtain. We're here. And welcome to the OtakuCast. I am your host, Angel's Calamity. You can find me on YouTube. I have a small Let's Play channel. I do a lot of things. And you know what? I'm almost at 100 subscribers. So you should totally come check me out, please. And my co-host...
Hi, I'm Directly Challenged. I also have a YouTube channel, YouTube/Directly Challenged. I'm here to have fun, and we would like to thank Senko-kun for being our new broadcaster, bringing the cast to all of you.
Very much. Much appreciated. As you guys can see, my horns are coming out. Actually, these are really heavy. I was gonna do a bit with it, but yeah, man.
I'm the morally challenged one.
Yeah, but look, listen. Just because it says angels does not mean I'm an angel, okay? Let's get that clear. I'm wearing my Deku shirt today. We gotta do the ritual showing off of the shirts.
Robotech.
Ah, very nice. And guess what, everybody? Skull Cup has returned. I found another one. Aren't y'all happy? I know you really don't care.
Unbroken.
Yes, the unbroken Skull Cup. I healed it with my massive personality. Anyway, we got some news. We got some news today, DC. What kind of news we got, DC? My dude?
First up, let's talk about the 2020 Doraemon anime film opening up at #1 in 377 theaters in its first weekend. The film sold 630,000 tickets for 761 million yen, or $7.13 million from Friday to Monday, which Monday was a holiday in Japan. But the film sold 334,000 tickets for 413, or 3.86 million, on Saturday and Sunday. It opened in Japan on August 7th after being postponed from the original March 6th opening, so quite a long little delay there. But yeah, it's one of those like classic Doraemon movies. If you guys don't know, Doraemon is a character that's been around in Japan for quite a long time. Very popular. He's on like all sorts of snacks, and there's like Doraemon bento boxes you can buy your kids, and like all sorts of stuff. So this is a new film. Cool. Very interesting, but yeah, it opened up, earned a ton of money, and
you guys can hear my air conditioning. Let me turn it down 2 seconds. I'm sorry, DC, talk about Doraemon for just 1 second.
You want to talk more about Doraemon? All right, I can try. All right, so the film's story begins with Nobita meeting two dinosaurs named Kyo and Mew, and despite the film's similarity in title to Doraemon the movie, the first film of the franchise, Nobita's Dinosaur, the story is vastly different. The new film is the franchise's 40th, and it marks the 50th anniversary of the original manga. This thing's been around 50 years!
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen Doraemon, but it's very popular.
Your soup. Yes, Doraemon is incredibly popular, and so it's cool to see that, even after 50 years, it's it's made $10 million in like a week.
Is that any better?
I think you're good.
Okay. And then but yeah, I mean, that's pretty impressive.
This is
honestly,
very impressive.
For especially how long it's been running. I mean, yeah, I know it's like a kids one, but
yeah, it's a little kids show, but it's that's why it can run for so long.
And then our next news story is Bones. Anime News Network reports that Bones Josie, is it Josie or Jossie?
Probably Josie, like Josie and the Pussycats.
That's fair. Josie the Tiger and the Fish. Anime film, which I had not heard of. If you guys go to our Discord server in the Otaku News section, you can see the link, and there's a YouTube video trailer on it. Or just look it up yourselves. And it's called Tiger and the Fish, and it reveals that they're coming out with this movie, and it's something that I was excited to see it because the woman that's in it she's wheelchair bound. She's differently disabled. And
differently abled,
yes. Tashi Nakagawa. Oh no, that's his voice actor, I guess. Sunio
Sukakawa, a fourth-year student at university in Osaka, is
pretty much comes on as her caretaker, from what I read when I read the article earlier. And her name is Jossie, who lives with her. Her name is Jossie, and she calls herself Josie. And she lives with her grandmother, and it's because of one of her favorite books. And she is just adorable. She really is just the cutest little thing. And there's some other bright and colorful characters. The animation looks clean and fresh. I'm definitely, even though I don't like slice of life type of things, I am definitely gonna watch it. And it was delayed because of Voldemort, the thing that shall not be named.
The thing that's delayed everything this year.
It will premiere. They announced on Wednesday that the film will premiere December 25th. So, awesome. Yeah, and if you want to check out the film, more about the film's main cast and theme song, and there's a trailer and all that kind of stuff, the theme song is Ain't No Waltz or Blue Waltz by Eve. It's all good stuff. Go check it out.
Based on an original short story from 1985, by the way.
Which
the short story known as Josie to Tora to San Sakana Tachi, or Josie and the Tiger and the Fish.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm doing my best here to pronounce Japanese.
Look, you're better at it than I am. You're better at it than I am. So don't even worry about it, my dude. And yeah, so I'm definitely gonna check that out when we get to it. What's our next news story there, DC?
Well, AT&T offered Crunchyroll to Sony for $1.5 billion.
Yeah, comicbook.com tells us that they offered him, and AT&T's like, that's a lot of money. But they pretty much assumed
Sony reportedly balked at the price.
Yeah, they assumed that it was each subscriber was worth $500, I think is what it was.
Well, we learned recently Crunchyroll has quite a few subscribers.
Yeah, they do, but that's a pretty penny. And, I'm sorry, this was Anime News Network. That was my bad. I lost the tab and I derped for a minute, so that was me. And it's still loading, so look at me go.
Don't worry about
difficulties, guys. Technical difficulties.
Technology website. The information reported on Wednesday that AT&T has offered to sell Crunchyroll to Sony for $1.5 billion, citing 3 people familiar with the situation. Sony reportedly balked at the price, which effectively values the streaming service at $500 per subscriber. According to another person familiar with the matter, AT&T previously valued Crunchyroll at the equivalent of $400 per subscriber. So I don't know where they're getting their evaluations from or why it's $400 per subscriber.
Well, you got to think of how long someone will subscribe for and how much money they'll bring the company. But honestly, is like, if you think about it, as us as subscribers, is just putting the $signs over our heads and what we're worth. But that's how these kind of businesses work. And Crunchyroll is awesome, though.
Yeah, but apparently AT&T is trying to sell off assets because it's got $151 billion debt.
Well, I
mean, that's some cash in the
so they're a bit
negative.
money hungry.
They're a little bit behind on bills.
Just a little.
Just a tad. So it looks
But
like
honestly,
AT&T is really willing to throw some things away.
Crunchyroll surpassed 3 million subscribers. I can talk, and 70 million registered users on July 28th.
Yeah.
And so,
I believe we talked about that.
Yeah, we did. Mm-hmm. Do you think it would be if you had the change, DC? If you had the money, do you think it'd be worth $1.5 billion?
Yeah.
I don't know. In all honesty, I would need to do like in my own little sort of investigation and see how long the average user stays subscribed. And you know, if they do stay subscribed for like, if it's like $10 a month for like 5 years, you get an average of how much they're spending. You know, it might
Let's be real
worth
though.
it.
Crunchyroll is an amazing streaming service, and you know, and it's only going to keep getting better, as especially with current matters the way they are. So.
Now they're coming up with original series now, so
yeah.
You never know. You never know what the tides will turn. But
yeah, that's true.
What else is going on in the world?
Well, you see, was it last time we went ahead and we talked about the Avatar: The Last Airbender Netflix series? Well, we had hopes. But those hopes have been. I had hopes. Because the original creators were still on board with it. They were there and they were going to write the product. The thing with it. My chat's messing up. Has anyone said my air conditioner is better, by the way?
No, but unfortunately, the creators of Avatar: The Last Airbender and Netflix have had a falling out.
And they left the project.
They didn't like the way that Netflix was going to take the project, and so they have left. They said that they're pretty sure that whatever product ends up being made, that people will enjoy it, but it is not the vision that they intended.
Fans are mad. Fans are really mad.
Are very mad. They
are livid.
Woof.
But DiMartino, which was one of the show forerunners, there was a blog post that said Netflix said it was committed to honoring our vision and retelling and supporting us on creating the series. He wrote, and we expressed how excited we were for the opportunity to be at the helm. Unfortunately, things did not go as planned. As we hoped. Exactly. Yeah.
And so that has resulted in a massive amount of fan backlash. People saying, we've already been through this once with live action Avatar.
Yes, we have. Look, they're pretty much saying if you're not going to do it right, don't even do it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
How many live action adaptations has there been that have actually been good?
Again, I keep coming back to this. The only live action adaptation that I've ever enjoyed is the Rurouni Kenshin 3-part series. The 3-part movie series has been amazing. And that was done by Warner Brothers, of all people. So...
See, I'd never seen those. I used to watch Rurouni Kenshin back in the day.
Look, if we ever get the chance to do like live action adaptations for Anime Club, I highly recommend we try and get that in there because those movies are solid. They're solid movies.
I'll have to check them out.
Definitely. If you guys have not checked out the live action Rurouni Kenshin, if you need a live action adaptation that satisfies your desire to actually like see your characters in real life, it's the Rurouni Kenshin series. They do an amazing job.
I will have to check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let us know in the chat if you guys have seen it, what you thought about it. Let us know. But you know what? Now it's time for our topic. DC, what is our topic for today, my dear?
Our topic is old versus new anime. How the genre has changed.
Yep. And we're not like, which is better, which when I was doing my research for this episode, I see it a lot, which is better.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm going to say it right now. You cannot have one without the other. We made these advances.
It's the old anime that exists and has influenced how things have come about. Without the old, you wouldn't have the new. We're just mostly trying to dive into a look at the older animes, looking closer to like their roots with Disney cartoons and American animation at the time, And then
we kind of went over a little bit of this when we talked about the history of anime.
Yeah.
And pretty much there's been anime around for about 60 years as an actual considered anime. You know, we did talk about how it went back to like 1903, but like, you know, anime.
Like, we have some graphics pulled up here about Astro Boy from 1963, and that's, you know, yeah,
that was one of the first. There's a lot of arguing, because I did do my research on this. There's a lot of arguing about which were the first. That was one of the first that was an anime. There was another animation, I don't have an image for that, called Instant History in 1961. Yeah. But they didn't that wasn't considered an anime. It was like a history cartoon thing that was doing. But then we have, and you can literally see where our style started with these graphics, as Astro Boy in 1963 and Space Boy Thorin.
Just looking at Astro Boy, you can see the Disney influence.
Yeah,
you know,
back then. Remember, Disney was Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, black and white, lots of the beboppers. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean that's a little further back than the 60s. A little further.
You're right there, but you're right. But you know, you still see that influence.
Yeah, and in all honesty, anime still holds that influence to this day. A lot of the eyes, the way the characters are drawn, you still get them to this day. But it's like back then, even looking at Astro Boy, it was a very fun series. I've seen a few episodes of it. You know, it's not something.
I have not seen any of the original black and white Astro Boy.
Oh yeah, no, they're very fun. Very products of the 60s. Like, if you remember 60s like cartoons and stuff, it very much has that same sort of feel. Like, it wouldn't feel out of place with a Hanna-Barbera cartoon.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
That's awesome, though.
Yeah, it's
See, I'd never even heard of Space Boy Soren, but you can just look at that art there, and you can see the influences already started. And then we had this lovely.
It's starting to get its own little like Japanese feel to it.
And then we had one that I wanted to make mention of was in 1966, Kimba the White Lion. A lot of people forgot about Kimba the White Lion.
That's a controversial one, right there.
Yeah, it's a very controversial one because Disney and the Lion King. But if you guys want to find out about that, you'll have to look it up yourself.
Disney stole that. Clearly, Disney stole the Lion King. I mean, technically, Disney stole the Lion King from...
for those of you that know me, I have a cat named Kimba. And it was inspired by Kimba the White Lion, because when he was a baby, he was pure white. He's not white now. But, you know, Kimba was... just look at the goofy characters. Like, that antelope... you could see a lot of those people had never seen those animals before while they were drawing them.
Yeah. Well,
and that's okay. You can't expect
or is it just they were kind of having fun with it?
That too. I mean, this was a show about a lion cub that had to become the king of the jungle and stuff. They actually made a follow-up. Yeah. My sister loves lions. They actually made a follow-up a couple years later, and it was a movie about Kimba being all grown up and stuff like that. So I actually got back into it.
Sort of like The Lion King.
Yeah. But anyway, you know, it's cute, it's sweet, it's innocent, but that is one of our forebears for the anime we have today, though, if you think about it. But
here's the thing. That's the 60s. We slowly start moving into the 70s. And what happens when we hit the 70s?
Look, there's this one that I saw that I've never seen, but I've heard about, called The Rose of Versailles. Is that how I say it? Versailles?
Maybe.
And that anime, you can definitely clearly see in just the image that we're hopefully going to have, that anime was definitely the art style, one of the triggering art styles to get to where we are today. Like the way the eyes are drawn and everything like that.
But the thing is that once we start getting into the 70s, we get the more into what we know as anime, but also the thing that I want to talk about is that we get one of the most enjoyable anime series that I've seen. I really love this as a classic anime. Lupin the Third.
See, I've seen the movie, The Castle of Calgarisco, and I saw a little bit of Lupin the Third here and there. And you're right, Lupin, when was that put out, Lupin?
Lupin the Third was from 1971, was part 1, and then 1977 was part 2.
Versailles? Oh, thank you, Chase. The Rose of Versailles. Appreciate it.
Versace.
No,
But you know
no.
what else? Do you know what we get in the late 60s, though? The little bit of,
what we get in the late 60s?
1967, we get Speed Racer.
Speed Racer.
Speed Racer. Oh, go, go, go!
Speed Racer, though, it was so easy to make fun of because back then the subs, were
the dubs.
The dubs were awful.
Oh! Uncle, I cannot go do that.
Fast.
Uncle, I cannot do it. They're too fast for you. Yeah,
that is the classic.
That's the
voice
classic.
Had to speak really fast or really slow to try to match this, get all the same words in there. I think that I don't know. This is my speculation.
Well,
just so you guys know, to try to fit the same translation, like, you know what I mean. Instead of like a lot of the voice actors now will rewrite scenes, so it makes more sense to be spoken in English.
Of course.
And it's just because of a linguist thing. It's not that they really want to change the scene, but sometimes it does.
A lot of it is just it's trying to match the lips to what's being said. And the thing is that, like, you know, if you listen to like the Japanese language, it can be spoken pretty rapidly, pretty quickly,
very fast.
And so that's one of the things where when you're doing a dub back in those days, trying to keep up with that, you know, you end up getting the Speed Racer dub where it's the classic, everyone knows it, it's the meme of everything, the little like, oh!
Another one that I saw that I've never seen it was Sekigaki I can't say it. Sekigaki, it was in 1988. And is Sekigaki Okojuke. Oh, I also cannot read my own handwriting.
Isn't that Fist of the North Star?
Is that what? That's what I thought it was, but I was like, And that's another one. I haven't seen it, but I've heard about it, and you can definitely see the style, the anime style there. It's like harder lines, not so soft. You know what I mean? Like if you look at the eyes and the expressions and everything.
It's not
like
Fist of the North Star, but it has a very similar look to it.
Well,
that's that old school 80s anime where everyone was super buff.
Yeah, and they went for like, I noticed when I was doing a lot of these animes.
Before you go on, translation is Charge Men's Private School.
Oh. A lot of them, the animation here, they were going for realistic. Chase said tons of voice actors do have a good laugh at matching the flip-flaps. Look, have you guys ever heard of ghost stories? We're not going to get into that right now. But the dub actors it was just a bad anime, and they were told to dub it anyway, and they just did whatever they wanted. Seriously, when they dubbed it. Look it up for those of you that have. I think it's called Ghost Stories. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, they just do whatever they want. But as I was saying, they went for like a realistic thing for a while in the 80s, and then a little bit in the early 90s. Yeah, Yojack, he's heard of Ghost Stories. He knows what's up. Have you ever heard of Ghost Stories, DC?
I have not, no.
Well, you know, after cast, you'll have to look into it, because I've only watched like 2 episodes. It was 2 things I watched of it, whatever it was. It was hilarious.
I was pulling up a list of the best 70s anime.
Oh, and what did you find, good sir?
We've got, in the list, we've got Lupin the Third, Mazinger Z, Captain Harlock, The Rose of Versailles, or Versailles, whatever you want to say, Space Battleship Yamato. I'm trying to look at Devilman.
Devilman Crybaby on Netflix.
The OG Mobile Suit Gundam.
Oh.
Space Ninja Team Gatchaman, which is they will sound familiar, Yojack. They should, actually. Space Ninja Team Gatchaman, which is that the sort of like precursor to Power Rangers and stuff like that. It was the Red Ranger, the Pink Ranger, they had the bird suits and the little mechs. You guys know Galaxy Express 999, which we've actually talked about when we discussed season 0. We talked about it.
Yeah.
Then there is, I'm trying to see what all is like people would know, you know, Doraemon.
Yeah.
And
Great then
Mazinger.
we came into the 90s, which you guys already know. This anime named Sailor Moon is near and dear to my heart. 1992. But you can really look at Sailor Moon, though. You can look at Sailor Moon, and you can definitely see just at an instant.
This is when anime hit.
This was like the golden era of anime.
Peak
not golden.
Japanese.
Not golden, but it was definitely like the start that anime really started to get popular. And over here, like, it wasn't as prominent, but shows like Sailor Moon were airing on our TV channels.
Yeah, this is when it really started for us, because we started getting it on Cartoon Network. Like, the 90s brought us stuff like Cowboy Bebop, Mobile Suit Gundam Wing, GTO, Great Teacher Onizuka. It brought us
Cowboy Bebop is still one of the greatest animes ever. Fight me. Fight me. If you guys don't agree, fight me.
Why would I fight you on that? Cowboy Bebop is amazing.
Not you. Anybody. I'll fight anybody. Meet me outside. Behind the dumpster.
Neon Genesis Evangelion. It brought us Sailor Moon, like you were saying. It brought us Fushigi Yugi. Apparently,
what's some other of your in chat? What's some other of your guys' favorite 90s anime?
Oh,
eat them in there.
Yu Yu Hakusho, Dragon Ball Z. That's when we got those ones.
Oh, but don't forget about the original. Don't forget about the original Dragon Ball in the 80s when it was perfectly okay to animate a naked little boy in full naked little boy detail.
The 90s also brought us One Piece, still around, baby.
Days cast without One Piece records. 0.
No, never gonna happen. Because the 90s also brought us
JoJo's is 80s.
Star.
Outlaw Star was fantastic, phenomenal, amazing.
Outlaw Star was fantastic, but these are like, this is when, like, the 90s is when anime really came to America. Like,
okay, let's say that the 80s was when the seeds were planted.
The 80s was the seeds of like anime coming into its more.
Our first crop was harvested.
Yeah. Well, the 80s was like anime finally got into its own. It stepped away a bit from the Disney style of artwork and became more of its own thing. You know, it evolved and grew. And then in the 90s, that sort of like kept going. And so the seed spread in the 80s really developed into what we see, you know, as like our childhood and stuff like that. And like everyone knows these classic animes. You know, the 80s, it's a little less because, again, you didn't see it much in America. But this is when you got to like those classics. And then...
Yeah, I know what you mean. And then we came, because I would like to show off and talk about where we're at now, animation style.
Well, I was going to talk about like the 90s leading into the 2000s and the 10s, which
that's fine.
Gets us to where we are now.
Never mind. Don't put that image up there yet. Not yet.
Oh, you're trying to skip the 90s and go straight to the 2010s? What are we doing here?
No, look, I was looking at. It's fine. That's fine.
You can't just skip the 2000s animes. You just can't skip Orion Host Club, Naruto, Death Note, Paranoia Agent.
What did you just call the Host Club?
Orion Host Club, whatever. I don't care. I didn't watch it. Inuyasha, Yu-Gi-Oh! That was the 2000s.
Look, yes, I'll give it to you.
Hellsing! Fullmetal Alchemist!
Alucard is my boy. Daddy, Alucard can bite me any day, okay?
Black Lagoon was the 2000s. Samurai Champloo!
Amazing anime. Amazing.
You want to skip Samurai Champloo?
No, I don't. Okay, talk then. I'll just agree with you. I was going to go like from old to new as the topic was, but that's fine.
That's what we're doing. We were in the 90s and we're moving to the 2000s.
I was just going to go old.
I don't know why you're complaining. We don't want to skip. The 2000s is when... Because the 90s was like the build up to it, and the 2000s is when we started hitting like an interesting turn.
Great, not the best, but
think about
great.
Like the 2000s, we got an interesting turn back into American influence on anime again because like Black Lagoon, but Samurai Champloo was a really big one.
Yeah.
There was a lot of like rap and hip hop influences in it, you know, and that's something that's very interesting. Is that we had like a 20-year period where we went away from like the American influence and became its own, and then it started to come back and meld back because of the 90s, where anime started becoming so much bigger in America. The 2000s also brought us Inuyasha.
I love Inuyasha. I'm still trying.
I figured you'd want to talk about it because it brought us the loveliness that was Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Okay. You're right. You've mentioned a lot of my favorite animes.
Because, of course, it brought us some weird stuff, but, you know,
let's
that's
say
not
that.
the point.
Let's look at the 2000s. We have some animes that have been so influential that even though they ended almost a decade ago, some of them, they are still so very popular today. Like, okay, Brotherhood wasn't released in. It was released a few years after.
Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood 2009.
Yeah.
See, there you go. Yeah, it was. It's almost out of the decade, but the original.
Whereas Full Metal Alchemist was 2003.
The original Full Metal Alchemist was still good, though.
Yeah, it was still good. It was a solid series. But,
yes, it was still a great series. Just that was one of the few mangas I read all the way through.
Fully Cooley came out in 2000.
Fully Cooley. We talked about Fully Cooley.
Of course, we've talked about Fully Cooley a lot.
Fully Cooley is.
But yeah, this is when we kind of there was a little bit more American influence brought in the 2000s of animes. A little bit more, especially with like obviously with Full Metal Alchemist, there was a very European feel to the world. You didn't have a lot of Japanese named characters, you know, Edward Elric, Alphonse.
But come on, kid, Alphonse and Edward are some of the most realistic sounding names I've ever heard an anime character.
No, they're very but they fit the world they're in. But that's what I'm bringing up, is that it's like we're getting more into the American influence, which brings us into the 2010s.
Yep. And the 2010s were decent. We're good for anime. You know, just good.
I think we've gotten some
2015
animes.
We had Food Wars, and I only want to mention Food Wars just because I did not think I would like it, and I really enjoy. I'm watching. I think I'm still in season. Well, look, I don't normally watch like those kind of slice of life kind of anime, but look at it.
What I like about Food Wars.
Cute.
It's also it doesn't feel like slice of life because of the way that they portray it. They portray it very supernatural, even though there's no supernatural elements at all.
They're cooking, but the whole time it feels like more of a physical fight than it actually does some just kids. It's a battle shonen. Exactly, Yojak. It's a battle shonen.
I love it, but I love watching cooking shows. Like, I grew up watching Iron Chef.
I was just watching Master Chef Junior just 2 hours ago.
Well, okay, but I grew up on Iron Chef, and I loved Iron Chef. And I'm talking the Japanese Iron Chef, you know, Morimoto, Sakai, you know, Iron Chef Szechuan. You get to watch those stuff.
Awesome. And that's definitely Food Wars is very inspired. If you guys have never seen it, give that anime a shot. And the main character, which for whatever reason I cannot remember his name right now.
I don't know. I haven't read it in a while.
I think I only watched the first season, but the anime is really cute. It's really entertaining. Check it out. But yeah, the animation style is just what we expect the quality of today. It's brightly colored, lines are clear. You know, you get that look, or as DC says, that feel.
Yes, you get the feel of an anime. It's really.
Chase says, "Oh my freaking gosh, Iron Chef! The damn English dubs of that killer."
oh yeah, those were great. The English dubs were terrible of Iron Chef. I still remember watching Iron Chef and seeing Iron Chef Szechuan heating up oil to make Peking duck in only an hour, and they're like, "Oh, he's flavoring his oil," and the dude just dips his fingers into boiling oil, tastes it, and goes, "That's about right." And I was just like, Jesus.
And then we have Attack on Titan Season 2 is the next graphic I want to talk about, because it's also awesome. Like, that picture...
Disappointing you don't want to bring up Tokyo Ghoul.
Listen. I don't have a picture for Tokyo Ghoul today. Look, you did not
Attack
warn
on Titan,
me.
though. Attack on Titan, though. That's I just want to say that's another one that you can see the Western influence in. You know.
Yeah. No,
and
Tokyo Ghoul. Now that you're gonna make me talk about it, now I'm gonna talk about Tokyo Ghoul. We don't talk about the later seasons of Tokyo Ghoul. Not in this house. We don't. No, because the anime. Because the whole time it was in my list to mention in most confusing anime, because that stuff is freaking stupid. How confusing it gets. It's just like
Tokyo Ghoul.
Okay, Route A, I think what it is where it got really confusing, and I had to stop watching because I didn't have any idea what was going on. I had friends that read the manga and said none of this happened. So
that's the problem.
Yojak, your friend that likes season 3 needs to contact me and give me play-by-play because I have no idea what's going on. But yeah, I love Tokyo Ghoul. I love Kaneki. I love the characters. I love the visuals, and it was so cringe. Like, I love dark anime, even though I cringe,
dark.
And I want to cry with Kaneki during. If you haven't seen it, plug your ears for a minute until I give you a thumbs up. The torture scene. That was awful, but
you don't have to spoiler that one. You just say it's torture scene.
It's spoiler because just that is so oof what they do, and it's so good.
Fantastic.
Too. And like Attack on Titan's another one that I love, and I need to watch season 2. I haven't seen it yet. Slap on my hand, bad anime fan, but I love Attack on Titan. I actually read some of the manga with AOT too because it's one of those worlds that I love. It's so dark and grisly, and that's something for me that I just give me the dark stories and the tragic heroes. Give. Get your fruity happy. I'm gonna swore, editors. I'm gonna do a swore. Get your happy fruity shit out of here. Give me dark, gritty.
That's the opposite
evil.
of the movies we watch.
Yeah. DC, when do we talk about those movies?
Oh, don't worry, we'll get there.
Okay, we'll get there, guys. We'll get there. But and there was a thing in old anime that they had little to no fan service because they didn't really know it was a thing. And honestly, some fan service is so cringe. We could do a whole topic about fan service, maybe. It's kind of in the gray area of what we can get away with.
I don't think we could go for that long about fan service.
I totally could.
I can't. I don't care enough.
But some people think that the 90s animes had deeper stories. But I beg to differ.
It depends. I think, in all honesty, that they did have very deep stories. There were a lot of very deep stories. But, they led way to what we have now, where they led the way for more deep, in-depth discussions. Like, the 70s and 80s animes were just fun. They were fun adventure stuff. You were just going out. You were having an adventure. You were just, like, having fun. And then the 90s sort of brought in a little bit more depth. And then the 2000s brought in a bit even more depth. And then now we're having, anime is a lot more serious. It's not just for, like, little kids on a Saturday, afternoon.
Yeah, anime's been growing up with us.
Yeah,
really.
It's grown up with its audience.
It has.
The thing. Because,
my father-in-law, who's never seen anime until he met me, and he's in his 70s, him and I watched Half a Trigun together, and he enjoyed it, and he's just like, I thought this was all just kid stuff, and I'm like, no, it's not.
No, that's what's great about it. It's fantastic. It's fun.
Yeah, it's great. And, some people complain there's more originality in older anime, too, and it's just like, yes and no. I see the point there. Older anime definitely...
I will say there are some animes that are produced that feel very assembly line.
Mecha.
You know what I mean?
Any mecha.
All
mecha.
All right, I'm gonna fight you on that one because you clearly don't
behind
watch
the dumpsters
mecha animes. You clearly don't watch mecha anime, or you would know.
I've seen a few.
Have you seen Gundam Wing?
Some of it, and it was boring.
That is not that's not an assembly line anime. There's a lot of heart and a lot of feel to it, and you know what? That's fine. That's not your
blow it
thing.
up about Code Geass, Guilty Crown, Darling and Franks. I have not seen any of those.
But there's like a lot of anime for like.
I saw Gurren
younger,
Lagann. Because Colette made me.
A lot of animes, especially for younger audiences, are very like, boom, boom, boom. This is the character. This is the This is the rival. Douche, pump it out, pump it out.
Look, apparently you don't watch a lot of.
Busy on Saturdays. Here you go.
Apparently you don't want to watch a lot of children's television because that's
I don't.
What it is.
I'm very, in general, I'm disappointed with the state of children's TV.
Look, we could get a whole topic on that too if we were not all about anime,
just in general,
because children's cartoons, except for Steven Universe, that one gets a pass from me, and Adventure Time, regular show. We're not getting into those, so I don't know if regular show is actually aimed at children. Not gonna lie. Anyway, but
That's
but you got to think that the one thing that older anime had, and it could have been a good thing or a bad thing, is that they had to do a lot more time and dedication to animate everything.
Oh yeah, they had to put in a lot more effort. Whereas with nowadays, we don't have to put in as much effort in a lot of things because we do have.
Sometimes it shows badly though.
Oh yeah, of course. We talked about with the 2D versus 3D. Sometimes it just looks terrible. And I don't want to get too much into it, but I feel like the movie we watched this week kind of falls prey into like the animation issues.
You know what I'm saying? Talk about that. we'll talk about that later.
But it's just one of those things where there's obviously some shortcuts in the anime, and you can argue that it's like, it's a style choice. But with modern anime, that's another like thing where you didn't have a lot of those style choices in the older days. You had a lot more love and put into the craft. But there's other issues in the anime world right now that's going around just in general. There's underpaid workers,
and then especially with the Voldemort thing right now, I'm surprised that we're still going to be getting our new animes.
And yet, you can see who loves the craft because of Voldemort and what's going on. There's still people out there hand drawing the scenes to get
in their homes.
Done.
So these creators are taking it to their homes and doing the work themselves to try to get something done.
And it's amazing. It's honestly purely amazing.
And then there was something else I wanted to touch on, where there's two things actually. One is the fact that some people say that we are having new animes, these bright new visuals and everything, with old style plots, such as My Hero and Black Clover, and I wanted to argue with that. I really did.
Black Clover is not really an old style plot. I mean, it's like I guess it's like a classic kind of plot idea.
But, it's still got that formula that we've talked about before.
Yeah, the shonen formula.
Exactly. But honestly... But it's a
shonen manga, so...
Exactly. And honestly, they may be pretty much My Hero Academia is pretty much Naruto. In a way, everyone's saying, not everyone, but a lot of people are saying that. And you know what? That's fine. They're not just copying the same things over and over again.
I don't feel like that's an accurate description of
I mean, I don't think so, but I can see why someone would say that. We got our heroes and our villains and our this and our that. You know what I mean? And the way
that's every shonen. Oh, it's like Naruto because we got our heroes and our villains. I'm just saying, if that's your argument.
The character tropes and story tropes.
But that's just anime. Naruto had those because it's anime.
Yeah. You're right. You're right there.
I don't think that I feel like there's a lot of people. I mean, even though we're here, we're discussing anime, we talk about it. I feel like there's a lot of people that maybe they haven't seen that much anime, and so they're just trying to compare it to what they've seen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right. Because that's what we do. That's how people compartmentalize things, is comparing to our previous experiences. So yeah, I get
exactly.
that.
Exactly.
And there's one last small thing I want to touch on. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead. What's the last thing you want to touch on?
look, there's a lot of animes that we all remember fondly. And is it the nostalgia, the rose-colored glasses, the nostalgia, or is it because they were actually good?
Well, actually, I can attest to that one. I grew up on Trigun. Everyone by now knows that I am a massive Trigun fan. I think, especially everyone by now should know. I mean, I love Trigun. Simple point. Obvious. I literally keep this by me at all times. It's right up here. I love Trigun, and my buddy had never seen Trigun. Like last year, never seen it, and I got him to watch an episode. First episode of Trigun. Dude was hooked on it. Finished the whole thing in like 2 days. So
Trigun is amazing. So yeah,
but that to me says that anime holds up. Someone who's never seen it.
First go-to was not only Digimon but Sailor Moon. I've talked about those before, and I was watching them with my kids the other day, and I went, "This is terrible!" Like the original Digimon and the original Sailor Moon.
No, the original. No, well, the original Sailor Moon's not so bad. You can go back and rewatch it, and it's not so bad.
It's not awful, but you can definitely tell the audience it was aimed towards and the era it was made in.
Oh yeah, it's got those '90s anime tropes.
Oh, for sure. And it's just like some of the things that the characters say, you're like, why would you say that? It's just, the nostalgia colored glasses. I'm still gonna love these animes forever.
Oh yeah.
But I know that they don't like Sailor. I'm not bad talking Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon is going to hold the test of time and still be amazing forever. But she's showing her age. I'm gonna just say it that way.
If I remember properly, too, the mangaka from Hunter x Hunter and Yu Yu Hakusho married the mangaka from Sailor Moon, if I'm remembering correct. Fact checkers can fact check me, but I believe that's actually true.
I have no idea.
Just a fun little factoid for everybody that I learned.
That's awesome. Do you have anything else to say on this topic, DC?
I like where we've seeing where we've come with anime and seeing how far we've gone, but I am a little concerned with the future of anime if it's 3D, because I hate it.
Look, I didn't actually get to mention God of High School, but I'm going to touch on that real quick, because God of High School uses 3D animation. It's
sometimes
CGI kind of thing.
Sometimes.
And it's awesome. I enjoy all of sometimes. I think all of the scenes are aided. I think hand drawn with the overlay of the CGI.
Yeah, but they're not doing it 3D.
Yeah, but
they're still keeping it 2D.
Yeah, I think it's done really well, and I would be happy if anime went in that direction. I'd be okay with that.
Well, computer assisted is fine.
I'm sure we have a picture. God of High School it's good.
Yeah,
it looks great.
Computer assisted is fine, but it's still 2D. It's just like digital art. You can do 2D, but just keep away from the 3D. It looks terrible. It doesn't look good.
Unless it's like the Captain Harlock movie, because I accepted that one. That was done well.
If you do it without making it look like a 3D drawing and go with just full-on computer animated 3D.
Yeah.
Embrace the animation full-on, or don't do it at all.
Speaking of embracing animations, DC, I think it's time for Anime Club.
It's finally time to talk about Anime Club. You guys know...
What's Anime Club?
Anime Club is the place where we get together and we watch animes together. We're currently watching The Promised Neverland and Gata High School. Right now, Anime Club is expected to start at 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. You can join us by going to the Anime Club voice channel in the server. It is hosted by Yojak, and along with the Anime Club episodes, Yojak hosts a different anime movie every week. This week was Lou Over the Wall, but this upcoming Friday is Lou Guru. Expected start time would be about 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, 6:30 Pacific Standard Time. But everyone's welcome to join. We hope to see you all there.
Please, we would love it if you joined us. But the first show we watched this week was The Promised Neverland.
Also, Chase said, yeah, them two mangakas totally got married. Cute AF. You're welcome.
That's awesome. The first one was The Promised Neverland, and it was season 1, episode 4.
291405. They threw away the.
I have 291045 written here.
Oh yeah, 2910. Yeah, it's 291405. 045 or 045. I don't know. I have minor dyslexia. Leave me alone.
Okay.
I gotta say, not much really happened in the episode.
I mean, episode summary: kids get ready to escape. I mean,
yeah, so, that's pretty much it's not a whole lot. That's it.
Let's move on. Next one.
Well, yeah, not a whole lot really happens. There's a lot of just like it's a lot of talk. It's a lot of training montages. We see Norman in the beginning is hiding things around,
hiding stuff, and then Crone and Isabel are talking that
Mama and Crone.
Yeah, that the kids are fitting well, or she's playing tag.
You can see that, like the way Isabel is talking to her, Crone is
she's on a witch hunt. Isabella's already like
she has that way of talking to you, like she doesn't let anything on. She keeps the same tone, the same look, but like you know that she knows what you're up to.
Isabel pretty much tells Crone that I know that you're looking for my kids, the kids that know. Back off.
Yeah.
Do your job.
Your job is to just be a bodyguard. Sit down, shut up. I'll make you a mama by the time we're done with this.
Yeah, she promises to make her a mom. And then the facial expressions give me the heebies, but I'm really enjoying this anime. It's one of those
facial expressions gritty. Oh god, Mama and Crone can pull off some freaking faces.
Yeah, they sure can. Can we just for the animators to be able to make those faces?
Oh yeah, they did.
Yeah, they did. But, they did amazing.
Yeah,
but then Crone goes back to her room
and she's mad and kills her baby.
The doll, the
little doll. That creepy freaking doll. God, I hate that thing with the missing.
I'm kind of glad it's dead. Like,
God, she's just gonna sew it back up. You know it.
Yeah. Then we go to our kids doing laundry, and they're talking about formations and making tag and
doing. And
they want to make sure everybody can escape. And Norman wants to tell Dawn and Gilda.
Yeah, Dawn and Gilda. They want to bring them in.
Yeah, and they could be but they're worried that they're informants. Norman's like, "Don't worry, I have a plan. I got a plan to figure out. Yeah, if there's spies,
it's gonna be fine. I got a plan."
And he's already made arrangements. Let me tell you about this.
Saw that the first
Norman.
Episode, or the first
Norman
part
is
of the
a think ahead boy. He's playing a game of chess, and he's already 6 moves.
He's playing 4D chess.
Yes, he is.
He's like, I got set up. I'm
And then Ray's like, "Oh, I want you to memorize 100 different arrangements, Emma, by ear.
100 different tactics.
Yeah, 100 different tactics. I am a grown woman, adult, and I could not memorize 100 different tactics. And
yeah, but they're also like super genius kids, so you know.
Are you saying a child's more smarter than me? I'd like to speak to your manager.
I am saying that those kids are more intelligent than most people.
I would like to speak to your manager.
Probably because they're forced to be.
I'm intelligent and valued. Okay?
All right, well, you take their 10 seconds to answer the question tests and see if you can get a score.
You can't even write word that fast, okay?
Well, they just do scans. Everything has just been like a little scanner.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
They're just like,
still, they probably just memorized it at this point. A, B, C, D, E, G, G, D, B, you know.
I think they changed it up because it looks like the questions are always different.
That's fair. So then they're lining up to play tag, and
to do team tag.
Yeah, and Emma has the smallest ones. I noticed.
Yeah,
she has all the little ones, but it seemed to work. The group tag thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed to do okay. But Ray suspects a little boy named Phil because he's smart.
He's got a score of 203 out of 300. So he's really smart, but he hangs around Mama a lot.
And so he was also one of the last kids found when Crone played with them.
Yeah.
Emma's just like, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think.
No, she's a panic attack anytime she has to think that maybe one of her family members is like a spy for Mama.
Pretty much. And I understand Emma's plight, but at the same time, look, we're all gonna die unless we find which one's the tattletale child.
Well,
but
in the infamous words of Sweeney Todd, we all deserve to die. Even you, Mrs. Lovitz, even I.
I don't deserve to die.
I just wanted to bring in a
Sweeney Todd.
Sweeney Todd reference.
Sweeney Todd
it
references
fits with this anime. Sweeney Todd.
Okay, you're
fits.
right. At least the children aren't being made into pies that we know of.
We don't know what they do with the kids. Would they send them off to the rich demon folk?
Yeah, you're right. So Ray pretty much tells her, like, look, you have to remember that one of these,
You
or
gotta
more than one of
suspect
them,
everybody.
are. Yeah, you gotta suspect everybody.
Yeah,
And then Norman checks Ray, and he's like, you any close to breaking the tracking devices? Even though they already had a plan, kind of, for that.
Yeah, they were gonna figure it out.
You know, whatever.
And he's like, yeah, I think I can do it. And he's like, well, how long do you need? And he's like, probably like 10 days. And he's like, all right, 10 days from now.
And November 8th, which I actually took a moment. I paused the show, and I have it actually in pink pen because these are like my questions that happened. First, how is he going to actually break them without chopping off ears? Because as smart as they are, I doubt surgery is included in their list of knowledge.
Surgery. We don't know what's in their library.
Surgery. Okay, you're right. And then secondly, geographical locations. November. It's summer there. It's the leaves are green.
Depending on where you're at. But in summer.
See, that's like in Japan, November is closer to the end of autumn.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, like maybe they're in Australia or New Zealand because November would definitely be in a warm months in Australia or New Zealand. I know it doesn't matter, but those are things I think about, okay?
Australia.
Possible.
I don't know.
Chase, our Australian chat member, is November, is that summer months?
I thought that was like winter months for the people on the other side of the world.
That's winter months for us.
November?
Like,
oh yeah, true.
November. Yeah.
It's fall. It's fall months.
Stateside,
Like
fall.
spring.
But those are all deciduous trees that we see in the long shots of The Promised Neverland. They would have their leaves would either be turning or falling off. So December is the start of summer. So it's spring, which could technically be. So they could be in Australia. I don't know. I know it doesn't really matter, but wouldn't it suck if they found out they were on like an island and they literally could not go anywhere? Anyway,
what if they were just on like a giant tower, like a mountain? You know, like
I don't know.
There's just this wall with a forest. It could be anything. They could be in like Nicaragua. Like where are you gonna go?
They could be on a floating airship for all we know.
They could be. I don't think they'd be on a floating airship. Maybe, but like.
Hey, Lone Dragoon. Hi, thanks for joining us.
Dragoon. But they could be on like California, Catalina Island. You know, just out in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. But anyway...
Which is why I agree with Ray is the smartest person who's like, we gotta figure out where we are. We can't just take 36 kids with us out into nowhere where we don't know where we are or where we're going.
It could be a nuclear wasteland outside of this little oasis. We have no idea.
It could be hell. They could be literally just in purgatory. We don't know.
You're absolutely right. But Emma's scared.
There are demons.
Too soon. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Ray agrees, but they want to outwit Mom, but they also need to go before winter, and yeah.
Yeah, Ray's like, Mama won't suspect it if we do it now.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean,
she thinks we'll wait the 2 months, but if we go now, that's gonna throw her off guard. But then it's like, well, what if Mama expects to be thrown off guard? Whoa!
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. And then they decide and then they're like, we're gonna talk to Gilda and Dawn tonight.
Yeah.
So then we have this strange perspective shift. And it's the point of view, and it's like climbing the stairs. And it was kind of...
Yeah.
It threw me out of the experience for a moment.
There's a lot of weird stuff that happened in this episode that was kind of like,
Yeah, and it's a point of view camera, and it's climbing stairs, and then we see Emma, Ray, and Norman meeting Dan and Gilda. in like the library. I think they
Yeah,
were in the
for
library.
some reason, Ray's sitting on the top of a ladder while they talk to him. Like, what the heck is he doing?
Look, he's a cool dude. He's got a perch. He's got a preen. He's got to look fantastic while he does it.
He's the Birdman. I have to sit. He's got the bird hair, of course. He's got the bird hair, so he's got to, he's got to sit up there.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm in my nest.
So they tell him, and then.
But they lie about Connie.
But they don't tell that it's demons. They say it's human trafficking.
They lie about Connie, though.
They lie about Connie.
Fine.
They think she's fine.
We'll go and save all the others.
And they say that it's human trafficking, not demons munching on their innards. But honestly, was that a bad choice?
Would you believe that it was demons? Would you?
No.
You told me, demons are eating us. All right. But Dawn's like, Dawn's all like, funny.
Dawn still laughs at them.
Funny joke. What's the punchline? There is none. Dawn.
And then he gets angry.
Joke. Yeah.
Yeah. Gilda, which is our resident glasses girl that we've seen before. And the way camera angles do is already have suspicions as to whether or not she's completely honest. But she accepts it. And she knows that Emma and Norman went to the gate.
This is why you were all acting so serious lately, and blah, 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 blah. And they end up agreeing to help with the whole thing.
Yeah, pretty much. And they ask if they saw Connie being sold. And Norman's like, yeah, we just didn't make it in time.
Yeah, and then
they lie, yeah.
They leave, and Ray scolds Norman for being too cruel.
Yeah, he's in the dub. He yells at him for lying.
He told him that it's cruel to say that and lie to them like that.
Yeah, exactly. And they tell him lying, and then Norman's like, "All right." Well, Ray thinks they need the truth, and Norman's just like, "I'm laying the truth." Then he moves on. He explains his trap to find out if they're honest or if they're not.
It's the old double lie.
Yeah, he tells them different locations for rope. See which one finds, and he's considered all the angles, and he hopes Gilda wants to. Wait, I read too far. He considers all the angles. He pretty much told one of them rope is here, and another one rope is there, and then they're gonna see.
Rope was in the upstairs bathroom, and then one was under his bed. He told Dawn it was under his bed.
You don't find out exactly where it was until later, but yeah, I don't know why they didn't just tell you right then. There was really no plot device in waiting.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, there was.
Anyway,
he told Ray that he's going to tell Dawn that the rope is under his bed, and that Gilda that the rope is in the upstairs bathroom, and that's a very important plot point for the end of the episode.
Okay, I'll give you that.
That's why it's there. That's because we get after that. Emma and Gilda have like a cute little moment together, and when they go to sleep, Gilda gets out of her bed and she leaves the area, and Emma sees that, and she kind of follows her. And then we see
a note sliding under a door.
Yeah, and it goes under Mama's door.
And the note says rope, Norman, bed.
Yep, and we get Gilda apparently had talked to Crone about some concerns that she had, and Crone was being very creepy.
Not just creepy, but pushy too. Like if it was in a courtroom, she'd be leading the witness all day long.
100%. But she's super, super creepy, and she's like, "Oh, did Emma tell you everything? Do you know everything now? Do. Creepy stare, creepy stare." And she's like, "No, Emma and I just had a fight, and we got over it, and now we're fine." Blah 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 blah.
Pretty much. Yep.
I wrote down Crone is Queen Creep.
She really, really is.
She's like, "Oh well, if you know."
Like, Gilda even says that there's not an issue, and she tries to leave, and Crone just like, "Oh, so Emma told you everything, did she? You can tell me. I'm your friend." Like, she tries. And I gotta say, props to Gilda. She didn't crack under that pressure. Emma's listening outside the door this whole time. And she's freaking out.
Yeah, but ends up, she gets out of there. Crone does her little creepy thing. But she gets out of there. And we get an interesting question posed by Norman to Emma. Why do people betray each other?
When was that?
That's a little bit further because not much really happens. It's
Well, we
towards the
definitely
end.
see that Dawn was the next day. Dawn was Crone's kissing up to Dawn now.
Yeah.
And Ray and Norman are discussing what to do about the spy or what.
Yeah, but that's
like,
that's
are
the
we
question.
gonna? Yeah,
that's
what
when
is
the
they
question
offering?
pops up is why do people betray each other? And I was just like, that's easy. It's really complicated, and there's a lot of reasons.
Yeah, but you got to think these are children. As smart as they are still children. They have children emotions and children feelings. They were discussing what they could offer the spy that they would be willing to. They assume this is Ray and Norman just assuming that it's possibly guaranteed survival.
And and we get Ray or Norman talking to Emma about what would she do with the spy. Would she take them with them? And she was just like, yeah. And I was just like, man, Emma is really too naive.
She said she would even take them by force if she had.
Yeah, that's not a good plan.
But honestly, though, because she's got a good point, though. Don't forget that she raises a good point that if they escape and they leave the spy there, the situation may have changed. They may no longer be guaranteed survival. They can't trust the adults.
You can't trust the spy when you escape.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
That's why I'm saying she's a bit too naive. There's a lot of extenuating circumstances,
But look, she loves these kids, and she's gonna try to save them. And I understand what she's getting at. Don't forget that she's a child.
I still don't like her.
I like Emma. She tries. And then Ray and Norman discover one of the ropes missing from the bed.
Under the bed, and
Dawn's rope.
They're like, oh, Ray's like, so Dawn's the traitor. And Norman's just like, no, you're the traitor. Ray's like, you were the spy.
See,
it's the old triple bluff.
Where the episode ends, and I don't think that's the case, but I'm keen to see where it goes next week.
I'm pretty sure if he's saying that you're the spy, that the setup is that Norman pulled a triple bluff on everyone. He said one thing to one person, but he didn't actually say what he said to the other people, and so he was testing everyone because he doesn't trust anybody.
Yeah.
He's a smart kid. I imagine that's sort of something he would do. But
honestly, though, I don't think Ray is the spy, but we shall see more of this next week in Anime Club. So, I did not get the title for our next.
The title for God of High School Episode 4 is Marriage / Bonds.
Now, look, this.
And Wav, Wav.
Look, this, I cannot say I was a big fan of this episode. It felt more like a filler.
What's weird is it's pretty much content. Pretty much what happens in the webtoon as well. I'll say one key difference though, just for all of you right now. She does it for money in the webtoon.
And that's kind of what she's doing. I mean, he's got the money and the influence in the.
Yeah,
pretty much. Let's before we're getting ahead of ourselves here.
We'll get there. It starts with classy nurse lady Heel and sexy bomber Sal.
Look, it's like some sort of official God of High School TV channel.
Yeah, there's an official GOH
It's called
TV channel.
Big Bang. It reminds me of, remember Cowboy Bebop?
That's what I was going to say. Channel? It reminds me of the Cowboy Bebop Bounty Channel. Yeah. And
they're just talking about the Seoul preliminaries are reaching the climax. Yep. Mira, Dawei, Mori, and a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu using Byron Jahe. Yep. The first this weekend is Dawei versus Mira. And then it cuts to them walking. And Mira says she'll win, and they're...
Yeah, Jin wants both of them to win so he can fight both of them because that's all he cares about.
Mira's trying to talk smack, and Dawei is just like, be gentle. That's all.
Han.
Be gentle.
Yeah, be gentle.
Han, yeah. He's
Which
just like, be gentle.
He was not gentle later on. Oh.
That hurt me. Okay, anyway.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah.
That was painful. So then some random rich dude with a fancy car pulls up and just...
No, it's not ignore this, though. He mostly speaks in English. Pretty lady.
He shows up and he just proposes to Mira. Dude. And then the opening plays, and I still love the opening. Be your contradiction.
Oh, I need to send you something later.
Oh.
Caleb Hiles, we talked about it the other time, doing the cover of Contradiction. Did a cover for Has Been Hotel. I'll send you that later. Yeah, I'll send that to you.
I love Has Been Hotel.
Which is something we talked about.
That's awesome.
But then, we get wedding talk.
A friend's choosing and gushing. I find out later that it's not her friend, it's actually her cousin, but I call her friend throughout all of my notes.
That is her cousin.
I call her friend throughout all of my notes, so friend equals cousin.
There's a lot of relationships in the anime that aren't really explained or explored, that are explored in the webtoon.
I can imagine. You know,
but this is like a very important relationship that's kind of just like thrown to the side.
Yeah, they don't really. You don't even know that she's related to her cousin. That they are cousins until much later. But
she's like, oh my god, what are you gonna wear? She talks about how like he's like some super famous.
I can't believe you're gonna marry the Shiongen, whatever the Shiongen is.
That's his name, and he's like super famous.
Why did she call him the Shiongen?
Because once you've reached the level of fame, you no longer have a first name. You're the
Angel's Calamity.
Like Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Okay, fair.
All right, that's what it is.
He's apparently a martial artist, a businessman, is very famous, rich, and sexy.
Does sports stuff, cuts up,
Yeah, he's all over magazines. I think there was a Forbes cover in there.
Yeah, there's like a Forbes parody. But he's talking to her. He's promising he's gonna bring the sword style back, and we get a little bit of like a background of Mira, where when her dad died, and like she's forced to live in with her uncle, and her uncle's like super weak, and like everyone leaves the dojo because they just kind of kick his ass.
Yeah, he really wanted to uphold the
kids.
Sword style, but he's just, and he knows it, he just can't do it. He's just not physically strong enough.
Yeah, he's a very weak man.
And then then we go after all of those flashbacks. We have like flashback after flashback after flashback.
The uncle seems suspicious though, because he's like, she's still
do we ever hear the uncle's names?
No, but you do in the webtoon. I'll get there. The webtoon, I feel bad for the uncle in the webtoon. A lot more than I do in this one.
Yes, Chase.
Weak sauce.
He was weak sauce. Yep. But the uncle questions like why he wants to marry Mira. She's a girl. She's like
17.
She's still a girl, and this is a rich, successful businessman who could literally
ever really know how old he is. He could just be 20. We don't know.
But still,
he could be 19. We really don't know.
She's a girl from a small town, from a small dojo. Anyway, but dojo, yeah. And then she says that she sees something shining in her, a one-of-a-kind potential for
She's
purity.
A diamond in the rough, is what he says. A true diamond in the rough.
But he also says one-of-a-kind potential for purity. We watched the same version. There's no dub of this anime. But
I'm just saying.
He wants to make her. I wrote Moonlight Sword Style so many times. And this is my note. He wants to make her Moonlight Sword Style popular, just like karate and judo.
Bring it back.
And he'll do what his uncle and father failed to do. He wants to make Mira happy, but you can see the uncle is not pleased with this. Not at all.
He's very suspicious. But then we get kind of like Jin Mori being unable to choose between two burgers.
He's like, do I want this one or that one? That one's got the crispy seaweed that tastes so good, but that one's got the spicy.
Everyone's just tired of him. He's the person I hate. When you go up, like, if I go into a restaurant, like a McDonald's or something like that, and there's like nobody in line, I might sit there for a little bit and like look over it and be like, what do I want? I don't know. But I'll literally be like, if someone comes in behind me, I'll be like, oh, go ahead. I'm still looking. I'm not going to hold up the... Jin Mori, though, he don't care.
It's his turn, and he'll take as long as he chooses.
He takes 3 hours. It takes 3 hours.
trying to choose what he wants, he hears some girls gossiping behind about Mira's engagement,
because
which
it's
is now
playing
public.
on their phone. And
yeah,
he's just
and he
like,
also hears them gossiping about it.
And then he shows up at her house to question her.
She's like, how did you get this address? He's like,
I asked him.
They had it on record. They told me.
He's just like, I asked him. And she just like
because she's dropping out of the tournament.
Yeah, and he doesn't want her to.
No.
And she kicks him out.
Yeah, Moriya's mad. She tries to kick him out, and they yell at each other for a minute. And Jin's like, "Do you love him?" And then she's like, "It's none of your business." And then yeets him. She yeets him out the door.
I mean, technically, she's not wrong. It is none of his business.
He goes flying down the stairs, like.
Yeah, poor little guy.
And then
he calls Han Tyler.
He calls Han, and
Han
he's like,
has
"Oh,
a
she's
similar
being
reaction.
tricked. She needs our help." And he's like, "Mind your own business."
Mind your own business, man. Stay out of other people's affairs.
He's like, "Oh, the dude's gonna sell her. It could be human trafficking, you know."
Yeah.
Lock her in a basement with a bunch of other girls.
We don't know what his tastes are. He could have a ton of women down there. It's just
Han's like,
got a very active imagination. Yeah.
He's like, "You saw that in the movie. That's not real."
Jin Mori's a very silly man.
Yes, he is. And then Jin's like, "Well, my grandpa always said that stars are into that kind of stuff."
Yeah. Anyone on TV is into something weird.
Look, I'm not saying it. Y'all know. Y'all know.
We'll move on.
Anyway,
her cousin's super into this wedding.
Yeah, she's getting all made up. Like, did you notice how quickly this transpired? Like,
oh yeah.
Let's be real.
Oh yeah.
Cousin's doing her makeup. She's gushing. The uncle's still like, "I don't like this." And another flashback about her and her uncle, and she sees that it's like showcasing how she didn't do what other girls did. She didn't worry about her hair, her nails, or dating or any of that. She focused on the moon sword style, and she focused on her training. And it's just like showing how hard she worked to get to where she is. Yeah.
And we got the uncle, like, after the little flashbacks, the uncle tries to call off the wedding. Like, she's still just a kid. She doesn't know what she wants.
And Mira's like, "No, don't worry about it. This is what I want. It's totally what I want. My dreams are coming true. With his name and power will help the Moonlight Sword style." And he's just like, "Use me however you want, baby." I was just like,
baby. Yeah, he's
simp. Yeah, he's doing his American, and I have to say I love that trope. It's so funny. I do
too. He's great. It really makes you feel like you want to hate the character because you're like, you're clearly a smug little like nah.
Yeah, and then he's like, promises her to give her everything she wants.
Oh yeah.
And then we find out that the friend is actually her cousin. And she now realizes that what Mira is doing, and so she starts crying in the lobby, and then Jin's just there.
Yeah, with his little sunglasses and suit on.
And he's like, and
still
then they
his
talk.
sleep mask.
Yes, and they talk, and they're like, "Well, let's make Mira happy."
And
so they go up to these guards. They're like, "You can't go in. You don't." How come the cousin did not have an invitation?
I don't know. I know.
They're like, "Oh, you need an invitation."
I mean, I can tell you in the webtoon why. It's because she ran out. The webtoon. Here's one major thing before we go on to what happened in the webtoon. Mira does it because her uncle has like no money. He's super poor. He can barely afford Mira's clothes for school and stuff like that, and so he has to refix and like redo Mira's old uniforms for his daughter because she's in elementary school. So he has to give her hand-me-downs, and she's like upset because all she gets is hand-me-downs, and Mira's like realizes, that the family's really poor and they're really not well off, and that's one of the reasons why she chooses to marry this guy. Is he's rich and he promises to give the family all this money and they'll never have to worry about money again, which that's why I'm saying it's very weird that they chose to like only focus on like Mira. Mira's kind of selfish in this one.
It would have made
she's
it
doing
better
it for
if
the
it was
sword.
like because of the family. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
As well as the sword. Like, get both your things in there, girl.
But the uncle, there was one really touching moment in the webtoon where Mira didn't tell her uncle about this school festival, which was done for father-daughter or, son and mom, whatever, adults with their children. And so Mira didn't say anything to her uncle, and she's just sitting there at the little event by herself, eating her little meal, and her uncle just comes running into the event. Aww. And he's like, Mira! And she's just like, Uncle, he's like, why didn't you tell me the sports festival was today? Sorry. But, yeah.
Okay, so you were very loud.
Yeah, but he gets mad at her for not telling him, and then they end up doing a 3-legged race and winning. And he's just like cheering for her. Yeah, it's a really cute moment, and it shows how much she loves her family and why she's doing what she's doing. And that's kind of like removed completely in the anime, and it's just very selfish, like, this is what's going to help me achieve my father's dream. Bah. Where there's none of that love that she had for her family.
And then they go up to the guards, and Jin tries to break through, and the guards are like, we will use force.
Yeah, and they take out
And then we go back to Uncle's walking Mira up the aisle, and at first I thought there was nobody in the room, but it was just the way the lighting was.
Yeah, a bunch of Richie.
Yeah, I noticed they're like up on a catwalk type of thing.
No, they were walking down a regular thing. It was all regular.
No, it was like raised. It was a raised dais. I don't know. And then we get a flash to a cult.
Yeah.
The cult. The leader is telling the suitor, the groom,
get a hold of the sword that can take down God and the hand.
He must obtain the holy sword that can rule God himself, as well as the hand that can draw out that power.
Yeah.
Apparently, that's Mira. And that is why she's doing it.
Can we talk about Handae showing up and just shoulder checking a guard into 5 dudes?
Hold on. Jin's fighting the guards just before Han shows up, and he can't use Taekwondo. Why? He says, I can't use Taekwondo
probably
on
because he'd kill them.
Look! They're in his way! Self-defense!
You don't just kill people for that.
I would, if I could, I mean,
that's probably why Han just used his shoulder to just go, ugh.
Yeah, they go, Han, and he just like, it was just a push.
Yeah,
and I
just pushed
beats all of them with one push. Yeah. I don't know. Then they go in, and they crash the wedding. The groom is like, yeah.
What about my guards? And he's like, we pushed them.
We pushed them. Did you notice the groom's like, I'll take care of this myself? And then the dude just came up holding the sword. Who brings the sword to a wedding?
Well, he does. I would like to discuss that Handae stops the sword with his bare hands. Just boom.
And then he's like, looks at Jin, he's like, yeah, do it. And so he fights the groom, and Jin runs over to Mira, and he talks, and he's like, is this what the style means to you? And
No. I have in my notes this for a specific reason. Everything is fighting with Jin, because his main thing's like, don't you want to fight Handae in the finals? Like,
yeah, that's true. And then
everything with Jin just returns to fighting.
Look, it makes the boy happy. You let him have his fighting. And then we have another flashback, and it's more about suitors and things that she gave up, and non-girly things.
Yeah, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Jin gives her this speech like, you work too hard to throw it all away, da 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 da. And then she smacks him in the face with the bouquet.
Which is funny.
It's hilarious.
And she goes to punch him, but the uncle steps in the way.
Yeah, he takes the punch. Poor uncle, because we know he's weak sauce.
And, Jin's like, you are strong, see? And the uncle's like, don't do this.
Yep. And then the uncle's like, you can stop, your dad wouldn't want this. And the cousin comes up and also is like, I want you to marry for love. And Jin,
see what I mean, though?
If you cocky grin.
See what I mean? If you bring in the webtoon's actual, story where she was doing this for her family and to get them the money so that they can live a better life and things like that. This has a lot more impact.
Yeah, it does. They're like, we don't.
This didn't have that much impact.
Yeah,
you
it makes more sense
love,
that way.
Said the girl who's been praising this whole thing the entire episode, and there's no real reason why she changed.
Look, she's young. Like, she realized that her cousin was not actually happy with it.
Yeah, but we get,
anyway,
dude activates...
Wait. I have to say Jin's quote. I have to. Because he's standing there with that cocky grin. He goes, "It's not that hard, just do what you want."
Yeah, follow my family motto. Do what you want.
I love it. Excuse me.
But we get the building, starting to collapse because dude activates giant samurai.
And you missed another flashback. It was of her dad.
Yeah, I don't. There's too many.
And then she tells the groom. She tells the groom she's not going to marry him and she'll protect her style her own way.
Yeah.
And then he speaks English again. "Stop fooling yourself, you stupid little girl!" And then he admits he only wants a sword and the successor. Yeah. Then he summons his spirit fighter thing, which is like a samurai.
Cuts her stomach too.
Oh yeah, he does. He cuts her fucking.
And she just one-shots him. Just
freaking
wow.
Yeah.
Swordless style.
She doesn't even flinch because he cut her deep.
No.
And she don't even flinch. But she uses light sword style number 6 monkey arm, and she like runs her arm along the blade, and it's just cool. I really enjoyed the way that looked because the camera like did this thing. It looked nice. I liked it.
Yeah, and the guy, like, we get them. They're after that they're outside and they're doing their little talk, and she talks to them and is thanking them, and he's just like, he's in a car and he's just like, "I'm taking this."
Pretty much. And everyone's happy and smiling and laughing, and then...
Which is destroyed immediately. Destroyed immediately. Because
Han Daiwei is looking on helplessly.
As his friend is dying in the hospital. And,
he begs him to wake up.
I would like to say, I really enjoyed him working at the Net Cafe. When those 3 guys show up again.
Yep, and those 3 punks come in to harass him, pulling his hair, saying his 6 friends gonna meet his maker soon.
They're gonna be happy about it, and they got what they deserved.
They flash, and then it does that. Then it flashes to him just standing there, his hands dripping their blood,
dripping from
like
they got what they deserved. They got what they deserved.
Jerks are unconscious. Everything's broken. Then we go to the tournament. Jin overslept again.
Mm-hmm.
And he's running, and he comes in to Mira and Han's fight.
And Han is brutally attacking her wound.
Oh, he's hitting her right in the wound, blood spurts.
Only her wound.
Audience is freaking out. He's just relentlessly beating the piss out of her. And she falls, and the proctor has to come in between to get him to stop.
To stop him, yeah.
Yeah.
So she's down. It's over.
She's down. There's blood all over the floor. And, yeah, everyone's freaking out. The audience is like, ugh! And in the hall, he passes Mori. Did you want to say something before I move on now?
I was going to say, all he says is, "I'll see you in the finals."
Yeah, he has a towel over his head, which hid his expression.
Yeah.
And he was just like, "I'll see you in the finals." And that was it. And then there was actually an after credits. Did you get the after credits?
I didn't see the after credits, no.
This was one of the only ones that had an after credits one, and it's Mira taking a selfie with Jin and Mori and says thanks for coming for them today. That was pretty much it. It was just a cute little selfie.
That's sad.
Yeah, it was a very cute little selfie. She was still all in her wedding dress and all with the makeup and everything. And
I will say, in the webtoon, she actually uses her no sword style to cut the wedding dress off at the knee, so she turns it into a skirt.
That's awesome. I probably would have done that too.
It would have looked cooler. Yeah. Disappointing moments, but that's it for Anime Club for now. If you want to hear our discussion...
it's not completely the end, because we still have to talk about the movie in our post-show.
No, we don't. That's what I was going to say. If you want to hear the discussion about the movie, that's in the post show. You gotta be a patron for that.
You could become a Patreon for as little as $1 a month and get access to exclusive content.
As well
but that's
as the
enough of
post
that.
show. Hit us with the last bit.
We have Empire News, which is the Otaku Empire, which is news within our people. And you guys can join the Otaku Empire in our Discord server, which link is in the chat right now. Check that out. But we are looking for an Overwatch general manager again. You play Overwatch? You want to play with us? Play professionally with our teams? Come on, join us. We're also looking for a Twitter manager. Do you like Twitter? Do you like managing things? Do you want to manage our twits?
Our
twits?
There's a lot of twits to manage.
Yeah, so many Twitter managers. But if you want to be involved and become staff, just if you are interested in any of those things, contact YoJack in our Discord server, and he'll set you straight. So yeah, that's pretty much what we got for you this week, everybody. Thanks for coming.
Well then,
thanks for being
it's
awesome.
time to say our goodbyes. Thank you.
I know you'll miss us. I know you will. Next week we are watching the next episodes, watching that movie Lugaroo. Hopefully you'll join us in the Discord server and watch it with us. But until then, take us out, DC.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye.